So one thing I really loved about CDK are CDK aspects. And I've missed it a bit in SST, but to be honest, it's even more straightforward to do in SST. So a common use case for me is on all my Lambda functions, I often want to attach something, either a tag for cost allocation or some CloudWatch alarms. And especially with the CloudWatch alarms, I saw this in the support Discord a few times. Let's have a look on how to do that. In SST, in the SST config, you have the ability to override everything you want. So for example, in this transform block, we can loop over all SST functions we have and override something. I'm doing that already with the architecture and the runtime. But now let's do that also for creating alarms. Within this transform block, we can create an alarm. But first of all, we need to define what should happen if an alarm takes place. So if an alarm is in the action alarm. So what I typically do is I have a Discord channel. This is now the AWS Fundamentals project. So we have a Discord channel here. We create a private bot channel where we want to receive these alarms. So let's head over to Discord. In Discord, we have some private channels here. So for me, I will go to the prod alerts channel, click on edit channel, create an integration, which is a simple webhook. I have the webhook here. AWS SST alarm. I copy the webhook URL, and this is the one I need for my alarm function. Next, I go into my repo and create this function. I go into my info folder, create the file alert.ts. So I've created my alerter here. What is happening here is actually I've created an SST linkable with the property of the webhook URL. I have is production here, so I can have separate stages for development and production. And then I pass this and link it to the function. In the function, it is pretty simple. I simply destructure the event. So I destructure the alarm and get my URL by simply going to resource Discord webhook URL. And I send a Discord message with the alarm name and with the alarm input. Now let's go back to my SST config. In my SST config, what I can do now is I'm adding the alarm in here. So I create the metric alarm first of all. This code snippet is creating the metric alarm. You have a metric alarm in the namespace Lambda with the metric name errors and so on and so forth. This is pure Pulumi code, nothing special. I am on the dimension function name, but now I don't have any alarm action. So let's look at my alerter. I need to export my function. So let's say export const alerter. I go in here, cursor already knows what I want. I get the alerter. And this is how I create my alarm. But one other thing I need to do is to actually also give it permissions. So the main part, what is always missing is, of course, permissions in AWS. So what we do now, we say, give the alerter the Lambda permission to actually be able to invoke the function, because what we have is we have CloudWatch sending something not to SNS, but directly to Lambda, and Lambda is then sending something to Discord. So let's look at the deployment. We can see it deploys in the background already, because what is happening here is that we now create alerts and alarms for every Lambda function that is out there. Like I said, this doesn't make 100% sense like that everywhere, but it is quite cool to do it like that and to be able to override things. So let's have a look if everything works out. First of all, let's check out CloudWatch, where the alarms even created. So we now see that we have AWS Infra Sandro. This is my stage in the AWS app, and we can see that we have some alerts here. Let's go into this alert, and we can see that we also have a Lambda function attached. So when an alarm, we invoke this Lambda function. We want to set the alarm state to in alarm. And we can do this by simply using the CLI, AWS CloudWatch set alarm state. We pass the alarm name, hit enter. Now we go actually back, look at the alarm, see it is in alarm, and what should happen now is that we got a Discord message. And if you head over to Discord, we can see that we got an alert actually, which is quite good. So exactly the result we wanted to have, and that's it. So only by going into this transform block, you can head over and touch every Lambda function you have in your account, and for example, create alerts or do many more things like that. I hope that helped. If it helped, make sure to check out AWS Fundamentals. awsfundamentals.com/newsletter is our newsletter where we send out every 2 weeks tips like that. Have a great day. See ya.